Welcome back to Lafayette Lifestyle. We are here at Acadiana Hyperbarics with founder, owner, operator, chief dishwasher, head chef, Jessica Moroux. Jessica, thanks so much for joining us.
Yep, absolutely. Welcome.
I have been fascinated with hyperbarics for quite some time. So kind of walk me through, like, how did this all come about for you and what is it?
Yeah. So my background is as a nurse. So I've always been into healthcare. And my mom has always kind of had a wellness bent. She's not medical at all, but that's kind of been my background. She was, sprinkling probiotics on my breakfast before it was
a thing, right?
Yeah, before anybody knew anything about the gut microbiome. She was taking me to a chiropractor when I was 6 and 7. And so that was kind of half of my background. And then nursing, obviously I went into it as my profession. And so I worked in that field for quite a while, did a lot of bedside nursing over at Lafayette General. And as I was practicing, I kept seeing patients coming in, getting medications, getting better, but really we were getting a lot of frequent flyers. And so it always kind of nagged at me that we weren't really
This is making it a little bit better, but not
Well,
killing
they
the
were,
cause,
they,
right?
right. And they kept coming back in. And so it started nagging at me because in my personal life, I was doing a lot of things to try to maintain my health, optimize my health, stay well. And I was seeing these people, the providers, not really focus on that, just treating what they had in front of them. So that's kind of my background. But to answer your question, kind of got off subject there. How did I get into this? And this came about really out of a couple of personal incidences that happened. First, I had a major back injury in 2019. And then about a year later, my son had a massive concussion. And he's really what started my interest, curiosity into hyperbarics specifically. We have several different therapies, but hyperbarics is kind of our main focus.
Hence the name, right?
Hence the name, yes. Yes. But yeah, he had a massive concussion, and normally with concussions, the protocol is to just give him what they call a tincture of time, a little bit of time. Let's see how the brain heals itself. And a lot of times that works. For Solomon, it did not. Some things resolved, but he was still having a lot of impulse control, some anger issues. All the stimuli he was really sensitive to that, so it was making him really irritable. And finally, what was the straw that broke the camel's back of just waiting and not really getting much help was he came to me, big fat tears rolling down his face, and said, "Mama, I don't want to have anger issues anymore." And he was 4. So for a kid to have perceived that so much, that something was very wrong from how he used to be, I was like, okay, we gotta do more. Yeah. And so that started my research. And what I initially found was these football players who were doing this thing in this tube for their brains, for CTE. I'm sure you've heard about that. And these guys do a lot of research on how to keep them in the game. It's how they make their money. And so I started learning about the science of it and thought, let's try it. It could help him, could maybe help my back. So we kind of took the leap pretty quickly.
So you've taken the leap. What specifically about hyperbarics made you make that choice versus all the other stuff that you happen to read on the internet?
Yeah, so specifically one thing that hyperbarics does very, very well is it stimulates a process called angiogenesis, formation of new blood vessels. And with any kind of wounding, whether it be like a gash in your leg, whether it's like a diabetic foot ulcer or a concussion, it's a wound. And when there's a wound, it not just damages the tissue, but it also damages the capillary bed surrounding it. So then when that happens, your body is not able to deliver all the things that will heal that area because it doesn't have the roads to the tissue. So you pop somebody in the hyperbaric chamber, repaves those roads, if you will, gives you more blood vessels, and then you're able to heal more efficiently.
Interesting. So the process is, it's almost, from what I've read, almost pure oxygen.
Yeah.
and the treatments are like 60 to 90 minutes, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And then you had mentioned, actually off camera, the magic's not really what happens in the tube, but what happens when it comes out.
Yeah, and that's so oftentimes when I have people come in, they're like, well, why can't I just buy a little nasal cannula, a little concentrator, and do that at home? And it's because of the physics of what happens in the body whenever you're in a high pressure environment. Normally, oxygen's carried on your red blood cells, and your blood plasma, which is the liquid, doesn't really carry oxygen. But when you put your body under pressure, you then can dissolve oxygen into the plasma, right? So then you have two ways of delivering oxygen. And oxygen is, a key element for healing. But you were talking about the magic after you get out of the chamber.
Correct.
So when
that's a key part that I didn't even think about. So keep going.
Yeah. So when you're in the chamber, you're in a really high oxygen environment. When you get out of the chamber, your body then perceives regular oxygen levels as being hypoxic. And our body, in its infinite wisdom and ability to heal itself, says, what can we do to survive this? And that's what turns on and upregulates a lot of these, what we call mechanisms of action of hyperbarics. Stem cell proliferation, collagen production, angiogenesis, lowering inflammation. All those things turn on in response to that perceived low oxygen level after you get out of the chamber.
That's wild. So inflammation that you've got going on in the body, it essentially sends signals to say, hey, look, let's attack this. I mean, just from your back, from Solomon's concussion. I mean, I've read that it's got some healing characteristics that are good for both dementia and there's some cancer stuff too, correct?
Yeah, they're starting to find that it can make some of the cancer chemo more effective, because one of the features you see with cancer is it creates a hypoxic space surrounding where it is. And when you flood the body with oxygen, it can make that chemo a little bit more therapeutic. Plus, one thing that often is a barrier with cancer is your white blood cells oftentimes take a hit, your immune system, when you're undergoing chemo. And hyperbarics also stimulates your white blood cell production. So it helps your immune system function a little better so you don't have to stop treatment. So that's one. It's not an on-label use right now, but it's one that they're doing a lot of research on.
Obviously, it doesn't take the place of chemo. It just helps accelerate.
It's an adjunct. It's something.
Yeah,
it's something that can.
It's kind of like a buddy. More than or an assister.
Right. So. Absolutely. There's a lot of talk in the wellness space about the terrain theory, that there can be these treatments, but if the terrain, so like you can take a supplement, but if your body's not going to absorb it.
We actually have this conversation with my son. He's talking about like, I want to take creatine. I'm like, but if you're eating fries and sugar, all of that doesn't matter.
Right,
so
if
you set the foundation right, you've got the diet, you've got you got all the other things, you got the protein, you got all this other stuff that's there. Then the only time that the extra will help is if you got the foundation that's set. So,
it's like the soil. If your soil's not right in the garden, your plant's not going to grow.
Great analogy.
Even if it's the best seed ever.
I guess the interesting thing that pops up, we've got, between injuries, between, dementia, cancer, concussions, hard tissue, autoimmune disease, like there's lots of applications that hyperbarics can be applied to. So if somebody is interested in finding out a little bit more, like what does the process happen? What kind of time commitment would they look to be able to, and is this something, I know this is a whole bunch of questions all at one time, but like one treatment versus prolonged treatments, what does that look like?
Yeah, so when somebody calls and they're interested in hyperbarics, we don't do any online scheduling because every single treatment is very personalized because every person is different. So some conditions really need multiple sessions. So speaking to like maybe an autoimmune disease, that's something that's going to be more chronic. So they'll probably need repetitive sessions. Sometimes we can do like 10 sessions up front, and then we'll just kind of, if they're feeling great, let them go about their business and just give us a call. I usually tell them, give me a call when it's about a 2, when it starts whispering to you. We'll get you back in and we'll do 1 session, 2 sessions.
Is this something that you like space out, or is it, you know, like you do it a week apart, 2 weeks apart, a couple of days apart?
So for most people, initially, we want to see about 5 within a 2-week period, because what I was mentioning earlier about the magic that happens outside of the chamber,
Right.
when the body is like, oh my gosh, we were just hypoxic, we're going to spend our energy to turn all those healing pathways on. If you just have 1 exposure that your body thinks it's hypoxic, it's not gonna, and then you go like a week and a half without it, your body's not really gonna spend that energy because it's very energy efficient. So your body's gonna be like, oh, that wasn't really a threat. We don't need to waste the energy doing all these things, turning on stem cell production, white blood cell production. It's gonna reserve that energy. But if you give it that signal 5 times within a short period of time, your body's like, okay, this is the real deal. We will really spend that energy to do all these things. However, if you have somebody where hypoxia is their main issue, like our sleep apnea people, or like somebody who has a diabetic foot wound, or those are the 2 that come to mind right off the top of my head, they're benefiting while they're in there because we're super saturating them with oxygen. So the benefits are felt while you're in there, but some of them are also cumulative. So
Interesting. Sleep apnea. Husbands everywhere won't get punched in the middle of the night.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Tracy, that's for you.
Yeah, it's a problem for a lot of people, for sure.
I'm sure. So when they go and consult with you, is this like a membership, or is it a per use, or is it?
Yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. We don't do a membership. I don't know, we did in the beginning, and it really, just because we were constantly changing. Some people would come in and we would think they would need 10 sessions. They only needed 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we found that doing like a package of multiple sessions worked better. You can pay for a session individually and just do that as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can get 5. We have like discounted packages the more you get. And so we found our clients preferred that.
Gotcha. Cool. So not only do we do hyperbarics, you've got red light therapy, you've got lots of other stuff that's out there. So talk about that.
Yeah, so the red light therapy was something I just kind of stumbled upon whenever I was getting into hyperbarics. The physician that I worked with, you can either just get the hyperbaric chamber and the training through him, or you could do this thing where you do multiple things and he's there on call for you to ask your questions. And so I really wanted that support. And in that, he says, and we also have red light devices, and if you do this concierge thing, you'll get a red light device. So I was like, all right, let's do that.
Check it out.
Didn't really know anything about it. Got the red lights in, and I had heard that they're good for pain management, a natural alternative to Tylenol, ibuprofen. And so I started using it for my back. I was like, man, this thing actually works. And then I started using it on some of my clients who we also do a type of myofascial work. So I was popping it on there for them, and I would have a client come in, I'd work on their shoulder, they have a back issue and a shoulder issue, and I'd pop the light on their back and only work on their shoulder. And they'd come in and they would say, you know, the shoulder feels better, but my back does too. What is that red light thing? And so I was like, I probably need to learn a little more about this. And as I started to learn more about it, I started to learn its benefits for our mitochondria, which again, getting back to that terrain theory, you have to have your mitochondria right if you want healing to go on, because if you don't have energy, your body isn't going to do any of those functions. And the mitochondria produce the energy for any function, whether it's thinking a thought, lifting a weight, digesting a food molecule. So now we pair the red light with the hyperbarics, and they have a beautiful synergy. So that's kind of how we got into the red light.
So red light therapy, Hyperbarics. I noticed lots of supplements around here too, so kind of give us a rundown of all the other.
Yeah.
It's a
So
really loaded question, right?
no, it's good. So everything basically in here has formed from either a client's question or my personal need or a family member's personal need. And so as we started dealing with some of the autoimmune patients, specifically like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, we started to realize, well, we really got to get the gut microbiome good if we want to lower inflammation. So then that organically developed, and I went and got my certified natural health practitioner license. So we're expanding out to do some consultations for people, because a lot of people's physicians don't really talk about their supplements, and
Sure.
almost everybody takes a supplement now.
So do you guys, where y'all take lab reports and like, okay, you got a deficiency here, like you can do this, and kind of help kind of custom fit what makes sense for you?
Yeah, we fold that into the conversation, but we really I like to stay in my lane, and we do a lot of collaborative work with the physicians. So I'm not stepping in trying to replace the physician. We're
Sure.
just trying to.
Again, it's like an assist.
Absolutely, yeah. Integrative.
Right.
So we don't try to take the place, but we try to have a collaborative conversation. And so I might make some suggestions and tell them, but why don't you go back
just run
to
it
your
by them,
physician? And I usually, my favorite thing to do is I arm them with data and information. So bring this to your physician, say, I read this, this, and this. This is why I'm taking this. What do you think? And it does two things. It's lovely because the physician, and I've found this to be true, are wonderfully open to it. The model, the Western medicine model, just doesn't have the time for that conversation.
Sure.
And so they usually welcome it, and they're usually excited to have somebody at least helping guide their patients, because they're probably going to take these supplements anyway.
Right.
With doing them right.
Absolutely. So Jessica, if somebody's got questions and they want to talk to you, where do they go?
I love an old-fashioned phone call. I know in this digital age, everybody wants to have just Google it or whatever, and you can go to our website and check it out. But as we talked about, there's so much to know on the subject of hyperbarics, red light therapy, that if you got a question, just give me a call. I love talking about this stuff. But you can also go to my IG page. There's a lot of good info there, as well as our website.
Awesome. Jess, thanks so much for spending time with
Yeah,
us today.
absolutely.
As always, for Lafayette Lifestyle, I'm Robbie Bro. We'll see you next time.